This is Trust the Profits 10-minute rundown. Here's your hosts, El Hombre and the Formula.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Trust the Profits 10-minute rundown. Today we're not going to be talking to you about the week's past races. We'll be talking to you about a couple upcoming races, Kentucky Derby prep races, Fountain of Youth, Southwest Stakes. And we're also going to be looking back a little bit at what happened previously as we go through our top 25 Kentucky Derby contenders. El Hombre, how's it going on this lovely Monday?
I'm super excited because we're reintroducing an old, old guard, something that we started with a long time ago on the podcast, the original old school style podcast.
Yeah.
An element of that was a fan favorite, a legendary, I think it's in the Hall of Fame in many disciplines of the audio realm.
People won't stop talking about it.
They won't. It's the irrelevant metrics that we used to connect with. We would do a full slate of races, and with each race there will be a lot of analysis and picks followed by an irrelevant metric that means nothing, blah, blah, blah. You've all heard it before, but that's what we're reintroducing that by popular demand. The people demanded it. They were outside of headquarters, chomping at the bit. All I can do is say, hey, we'll do what you need. So we're doing it. Here we go. We're going to add that in tonight to the two Derby preps that we're going to cover. But so we got the two we're going to touch on because we covered it last week, the two prior Derby prep races that were at this point a week and a half ago, and then talk about the next two. And our top 25, we'll touch on that a little bit.
So a week and a half ago, El Camino Real, not Royale, like some people say. You got Rombauer on top of Javanica, on top of Governor's Party, who came to the party, surprised everyone, paid off huge odds.
Wild.
That was on the 13th. And then you had the Risen Star, Mandaloon, Proxy, Midnight Bourbon. So we had those two races a week and a half ago. We had no Derby prep races this past week because Southwest, which was rescheduled, had to be rescheduled again on top of being rescheduled before because of weather. They got some bad weather at Oak Lawn. Don't blame them. Horses safety first, jockey safety first, 100%.
Yeah, Arkansas getting ice, 16 inches of ice thick all over. They've never even had ice there, I don't think. So it was a first time, but
didn't know what to do with it.
Yep.
All this ice, what do you do with it? Mother Nature stepped in. But we wanted to take a break from all that to understand, how does this all impact our charts? What's our top 25 look like? And as I save this, click my hands, click my fingers, and it appears right before me. So, El Hombre, you want to take us through some highlights on your top 25?
Yeah, I think we'll talk about first any horses that have moved into the top 25. You can see on the left half of the screen is my top 25 poll. On the right side is the Formula's top 25 poll. Yep. So with that, the new entries for me, I think Rombauer has moved in and deserves a spot in the top 25. He is my number 16. A dominant performance. I think his buyer was around 87 or something like that. So legit. I mean, I don't think he's going to win the Derby, but I think he's in the discussion to be in the Derby. I also had Proxy, who was second in the Risen Star. And you'll notice, I think the trend for me is to start. There was a bunch of maybe 10 or 12 horses that were slated to be big contenders that we just haven't even heard from.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of waiting on that. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on something I haven't even seen yet. So I'm starting to move horses like Proxy. You'll see also in blue, number 22, Roman Centurion, Prime Factor, 23, and the Great One, 24. All legitimate contenders. The real reason they've entered my top 25 at this point is due to attrition, honestly, because I'm not going to sit here and speculate on how good a horse is that we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, there's a few horses I had like that. Prisoner was the one I hung on to for the longest. A Pletcher horse that Irad was on, I think, broke its maiden with a nice high to mid-90s run at Del Mar, or maybe it was somewhere else in the summer. But June, I think, is the last time we've seen Prisoner, and it was just time to take him off my list. Overdo it best. Aunt Pearl, I put her on there because she had just had a slew of wins. Great run at Breeders' Cup. I just hadn't seen anything from her. And, right, a filly in the Derby. It's unlikely. I thought Aunt Pearl could definitely be one of those types of horses. So
Swiss Skydiver of 2021.
Exactly. And that's where I was going with that. It would have been nice to see her run once or twice in the past couple months, just so I knew what was up and what the plans were, but, had to drop her off my list. Obviously, I could tell by looking at my list that whoever made it on my, as my newbie, so to speak, took a skyrocket up the list. And I think that's because once you get the recency bias, right? Seen Drain the Clock run a couple times now. Finally put it on the list because I just love the way that horse has been running, keeping the pace and then just blowing people out down the stretch. That's what you like to see. Obviously, upcoming week, we're going to see him at a mile and a 16th, mile and an eighth. I can't remember how long the Fountain of Youth is.
Yeah, the Fountain of Youth at the Gulfstream, yeah.
And then Mandaloon, who I recently had at high, got beaten by Midnight Bourbon. Took it off the list after a couple drop downs, shot it back up the list after we saw what had happened. And we at the Risen Star, and now we're going to see it the Louisiana Derby in about a month.
Yeah, so quick note on the bottom half of mine too. Prime Factor was one of those. He jumped back onto my list. He got great. He had a terrible run, let's be honest, at the Holy Bowl.
Yeah.
He was picked to win that right along with Greatest Honor. They were kind of neck and neck. Actually, Prime Factor was favored in that one. But my whole qualification that I wanted to say with him still being in there is that sometimes people have an off day, and that one off day for that horse, I don't think he's completely disregarded yet. But what are you going to do?
Again, recency bias is just a crazy thing, especially when it comes to these horse races, right? I mean, it's not like they're running once every week. You see them once a month at best. So it's easy to take that last race, remember a second place finish, and say, not good enough, drop it off the list, as I've done with Prime Factor. But obviously you're putting him back on the list. You got the great one on there who's had a bunch of second places, right? Yeah. Roman Centurion. Yeah.
He's a great one. He was on my list early on, bumped back in due to attrition, like I said. So we've talked about how the last couple have impacted our list here. What about what's going on coming up this weekend? I know there's two big ones.
We got two big ones coming up this weekend. So we've got Fountain of Youth, which is in Gulfstream, and then we got the Southwest Stakes at Oak Lawn. Finally, we're going to have Southwest Stakes, weather permitting, of course. So let's go to Fountain of Youth first. We got a lot of great horses there. Got Greatest Honor, Fire at Will, Drain the Clock, Tarantino. So, El Hombre, where do you see this race going? Who's your favorite in this race?
Well, yeah, first off, both of the races this weekend are probably the two biggest we've seen yet as far as rivalries and...
Easily.
And you're starting to see winners from prior preps now starting to face off. As far as the Fountain of Youth goes, I mean, Fire at Will, who's a turf horse, Breeders' Cup champion. The thing has really done no wrong. We don't know. I'll be honest. I see Greatest Honor as maybe the overall. I've got him as number 4 right now, but I haven't seen anybody, really blow him out of the water. As far as this horse is definitely going to be, Greatest Honor is definitely going to lose to anybody.
Right.
But as far as the competition, I see it as Fire at Will is kind of a question mark because of the turf to dirt thing.
Yep.
But he is strong. He's 3 or 4 lifetime. And obviously Maker and, I think they've got confidence to move him to dirt, Mike Maker. And I think Ricky Santana's got the ride. And then Drain the Clock is another one. I've only honestly seen the horse run once, and he was super impressive speed-wise. Right. I didn't see him run against anybody that mattered. That's the problem with him. How's he going to react to competition?
And he started off, I think, at 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs. I don't think we've seen him run a mile yet. So there's distance, too, that could be a factor with Drain the Clock, even though I love the horse.
I do, too. I got him at, what, 19, 20?
Got him at 7, so I'm bully on... bully on...
I got him at 17, so he's definitely in the mix for both of us. And he won the Grade 3 Swally. So he's no joke, but there was really nobody at this level that we're looking at in the top 25. He hasn't faced them yet, so we'll see. But maybe he shows up. I think Greatest Honor is gonna be the top dog there. What do you see?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I had Fire at Will simply because, right, anytime you win a huge Breeders' Cup like it did on turf, granted, but it's another horse that just keeps winning, and it's hard to doubt and hard to knock a horse that just keeps winning out of your top 5 and top 10 until you've seen him do otherwise. So, like you said, all of them have question marks. If you look at my list, I got Fire at Will at number 3. I think it's very easy to move Greatest Honor up a notch there and say that he's probably my favorite. And I do love Drain the Clock. I think if this were another race, I'd want to put Drain the Clock above there. But
and what's interesting about us having this discussion on Monday the 22nd is that there has not been morning line odds yet. There has not been post-position draws yet. So we're just speculating on pure history. So
yeah, I mean, and that being the case, I'm guessing Greatest Honor will probably get the leanest odds, followed by Fire at Will, and then Drain the Clock. That's probably the order I'd go in, and then Tarantino, I'm guessing, would be 4th.
Yeah, I don't think Tarantino has a real shot here, but
no, I don't either. But in terms of the horses that I've seen, that's the one that's been, knocking on the door of this class.
If there's a pace issue, something like that, where he could sneak up and hit the board, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
Anybody else on that list of contenders in that race in particular that you think could sneak up and win, or at least hit the board?
No, I don't see anyone else who I'd be favoring here.
Yeah, and I think those 3 are the Drain the Clock, Greatest Honor, and
Greatest Honor, Drain the Clock, Fire at Will. Yeah. All right, time for an irrelevant metric. What you got here?
For the Fountain of Youth, we have what is the thing's name? Come on,
Papa 2, Moonlight Strike.
No, we're gonna go with Greatest Honor. The guy we just
Honor.
talked about being the favorite. Now, who's the trainer here? It's Shug McGahee. Whatever you want to pronounce that thing. All I'm gonna do is tell you about a little guy named Suge Knight. Anybody familiar with his work? Death Row Records. Probably responsible. I see it as around 20 to 25 murders in the LA rap scene, East Coast, West Coast rap battle type stuff. Suge Knight, shout out. That's all I got for you. Look, the guy's probably murdered 20 guys. Responsible for so much more. But damn, was he tight with Biggie and Tupac though. So big shout out to my boy, who I think is in prison for life, by the way. So
probably. So he might get that shout out via some sort of letter.
Somebody get that to him if you can at him.
Metal bars.
I'd appreciate it. So
yeah.
What's the other race? Let's talk.
The other race, we got the Southwest Stakes. Finally, we're getting the Southwest Stakes, and this is a big one, right? Because
no ice.
Last time we saw Essential Quality and Jackie's Warrior, right? We're talking about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We also have Keep Me in Mind, Spielberg, Santa Cruiser, Last Samurai, Notable Exception, and Hush of a Storm. But really, it's those top 3 there: Essential Quality and Jackie's Warrior, and Keep Me in Mind. It is really rising up the charts. I think it'll be interesting to see. This is the race that Keep Me in Mind can really prove himself to a pack like this.
And when you say rising up the charts, he's been in my top 10 all along, mainly because of our boy DC David Cohen. I'm talking. When did we talk to him last? Probably December or so.
Yeah,
and he was all in on this horse right from the start, and that's a Diodoro team.
Yeah.
I think that I'm super excited to see him run this week. I've got him at number 8. You've had him a little lower all year, but I think with this race, again, man, both of these races are awesome. I've got 2 of my top 10 in this thing, Essential Quality and Keep Me in Mind.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple, what do you have?
I got
2 of your top 5, really. You got
2 of my top 5, yeah.
I got Jackie's Warrior at 9, so I actually had 3 in the top 10, actually.
I got 2 and 4. Yeah, I mean, Jackie's Warrior, I think, was probably number 1 on most people's lists up to the Breeders' Cup, and then it flipped to Essential Quality when Jackie's Warrior took a 4th place, and Essential Quality just blew people away.
Yep.
Jackie's
Warrior was 4 of 4 up until that point, by the way.
Right, exactly. So I think Essential Quality is probably going to be my pick here because I've had it at second. Only to Life is Good, because when I started seeing Life is Good, I thought, that feels like the horse. Really, it's been those 2 for me since November, right? And I'm interested to see if Jackie's Warrior can get revenge in this race, to see if Keep Me in Mind can bust his way into what is essentially my top 5, right? There's a lot on the line here in this race, in my opinion.
Are we safe to say that whoever wins the Southwest Stakes is going to be number 1 for both of us after this? I mean,
No.
if Essential Quality wins going away, are you going to move it above Life is Good finally? Because we've had the top 2 the same all year, just flip-flopped. Anything from 3 down, we've had some shifting going around, but our top 2 have been consistently non-changed.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not going to sign up and say that's going to happen. It depends what happens in the race. If there's a huge gap between Essential Quality and Jackie's Warrior, and keep me in mind, yeah, I might move Essential Quality up to number 1. But it's tough to knock out Life is Good, too, when it's, not racing this weekend. So we've got to wait till March 6th to see what it looks like at San Felipe.
Couple weeks at the Felipe out there in Santa Anita.
Yeah.
That horse is, that's another one. But this weekend, we've both got like 5 or 6 of our top 25 going. It's going to be awesome. My golden rule, and I stick to this all the time, is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Champion is number 1 until proven guilty.
Yeah, proven otherwise, huh?
Yep. So that's why Essential Quality stands alone up there and has all year. And look, I haven't heard anything to change my mind, and I'm going to stand by that until the horse gets beat legitimately, or even if it won and it wasn't a decisive victory, maybe he drops a little bit because, Life is Good, Concert Tour, Greatest Honor, Mandaloon, even Caddo River, all super impressive in difficult fields, and we haven't seen Essential Quality in a difficult field yet.
None of them won the Breeders' Cup
since the Breeders' Cup. So.
Yeah, none of them won the Juvenile, though.
Yeah, the champion's a champion until proven guilty, like I said. So
until knocked off. Okay, so we got your pick, we got my pick, but what about the irrelevant metric?
Yeah, people are just waiting with bated breath to hear this every time, aren't they?
Got 4 locks on my door right now because people are knocking it down. Yeah, go ahead.
And they're getting impatient because we're 18 minutes in.
We are. 10 minutes.
Southwest Stakes, the irrelevant metric is a horse called Hush of a Storm, right? Similar to the Night Stalker. Now, if you're not familiar, Richard Ramirez, a serial killer from Los Angeles. Yeah, we're doing it. We're going to go down that path, and everybody's going to love it.
Okay.
So, similar to the horse Hush of a Storm, Richard Ramirez would beg his victims to hush and be quiet as he smothered them to death, as he slit their throat, murdered, raped, whatever he's going to do, Mm-hmm. It just... I hearken back with the name Hush of a Storm to great memories with the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, who, by the way, has a great Netflix documentary series. If you're not familiar with that, check that thing out. It's called The Night Stalker. I'm a big Rich Ram fan, as is Flypaper. Brent T out there, who's part of the Tour de Force, a big fan. So yeah, that's it.
So comparing a serial killer to a horse that runs at Turfway Park, just no biggie.
I don't know how you don't draw the parallels there.
Right. I think that's a good stopping point for us. We got a couple huge races this weekend. We've got week 36 coming up. So to Wednesday, we're going to be at Tampa Bay, followed by, let's see if I can do this from memory now, Oaklawn, Fairgrounds, and then we're going to hit the 2 big races this weekend.
Yep.
Southwest is obviously Oaklawn, and then GSP, we're hitting Fountain of Youth. So that's our big week 36. If you're interested, hit up El Hombre.
All right, yo. I think that's it, man. Good stuff. A little bit different of a format from here, especially from now until Triple Crown. We're going to mostly concentrate on this topic. So
something fun for the kids.
Yeah, the kids will love it. They'll love the Rich Ram resets for the Night Stalker. Check it out on Netflix, guys. All right. With that, we're out.
All right, man.
Peace.